Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could go bad for you. Hit like, comment, subscribe, you know what to do. Be cool, city lights shining so bright. Fine dining nights feels right. Flights to places far from sight. Get right. Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could go bad for you. In the city where we move, stay cool. Underneath the neon glow, life is fast but take it slow. Every moment like a show. Let's go. Dancing through the night, we got energy flows we can't hide. Feel alive, we outside. Moments fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Moments fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Ruthless reading but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could bad for you. In the city where we move, stay cool. Stay cool.
Hey, nobody bigger than the program.
What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another, I would say, tantalizing topic. And this one here is a little bit more sophisticated, but yet we need to have the conversation. Feminism takes accountability away from the woman and puts the blame on the man. And this is a very deeply rooted ideology that is dividing men and women across the nation, across the world. And it is very unhealthy to sustaining the nuclear family. It just is, right? Because if feminism is asking for or to feel equal or to feel like they want to be a part of something and have more value, but then turn around when it doesn't work to blame the man, there's no point in feminism. Feminism is supposed to put full accountability on the woman for her actions. If she's wrong, she's wrong. Simple. If you're wrong, you're wrong. That's what feminism is supposed to do, but they have twisted it to now take the accountability away from the woman. She gets all the equal rights. She gets treated equally, but when it comes to consequences for her action, it's the man should have been a better leader. Even though she's not looking for a leader or she doesn't want to let her man lead, she then understands this. Women are very intelligent about this position, that they can act in a dominant manner, of higher equity, but then it all fails. Everybody's going to blame the man. Everybody's going to blame her man, no matter what. And this is unhealthy, in my opinion, because it's not going to make her better. It's not going to help her to work on herself properly. All it's going to do is make her even worse. Because now she has her go-to. So feminism is something that is a cancer, not an answer. It does not solve to why men and women can't get along, but it is the root. It is the root to why there are so many more problems than ever before in the dynamics of men and women. Via relationship, via marriage. Doesn't matter. Even in just day to day, right? She ain't even my girlfriend, but women, they want to impose feminism to get their points across. And I think feminism is just another way of saying is, I'm coming to compete with you. But yet you get all the blame. And this is where I think feminism, the results are, if she fails, she always have someone else to blame, right? If she does something, she gets plays the victim and blame the man. Blame the man. And this is how women eat, right? This is how they eat. Every time they go out and do something on 304, oh, you guys should do this. You guys should do that. Then the men say, man, you guys got to stop having sex with these women. We got to do all these things to stop them from being who they want to be. When in truth, be told the women are living in their truth. So I got a video we're going to examine. And we're going to see how this brings it all together.
I think feminism did more to split the Black community than almost anything else. You know, it is a documented fact that Gloria Steinem was paid very well by the CIA to come to Black women and say, you're a woman first and then you're Black. Come burn your bras with us. So when you have a psychological op played on so many levels, that indoctrination, you know, tends to permeate throughout the annals of history, even to this day.
The romanticizing of fathers and the role that they played in the women being safe. From a man's perspective, I respect that y'all think that. I really do. And I hope that is the case for you guys. I really, really do. I really hope that you all really do find a way to protect your daughters from potentially dangerous men. But from a woman's perspective, you probably wouldn't even know. Because once your daughter gets in the hands of one of these men, you're not going to know until it's too late. FYI, there is not an abuser out there, not a successful abuser out there that presents themselves as an abuser. Most times, you men can't even sniff it out. And I know that you think that you are hound dogs for bad men. And I respect that you think that. I really do. And I'm not being funny. I'm not being sarcastic. I really do respect that you all think that. But from a woman, and once again, unless you got a vagina, you date men, this is something that you're just going to have to listen to. I want you to understand that it will be too late, because abuse starts so quietly, so respectfully. That man is going to be the most upstanding guy that you have ever seen. He's got money. He takes care of your daughter. He is well spoken. He's well dressed. All of that. And then he's going to make your daughter start to feel insecure. He is going to take her voice away from her. He is going to do all of the things, all of the steps that abusers make to weed.
And that was the go-to card, right? Because now, if you tell her, hey, spoke when you're spoken to, or speak with respect, you're taking her voice away. Once again, it's blaming the man. Now he's an abuser because he is putting her in check. We're not saying to you, we don't want to hear what you have to say, but we're not always going to give you the answer so you can have your way. And now you turn that rejection into abuse. You know, this is just a divisive concept.
Leave this web that she can not get out of, not without some work. I want you all to understand that you have to learn how abuse works before you can protect your daughters from abuse. So if you really want to be that man that our fathers and grandfathers were not, then I need you to study the cycle of abuse so that you can see it. And then you can actually protect them, do something that they could not do. And so your romanticized version of what a man used to be to his daughter can actually come to fruition. I'm just saying, we have to stop thinking that these things actually happened when they didn't. I can give you a lot of stories. You need to talk to a lot of women with lived experience with abusers and ask them with their fathers that were involved, that had to meet that man. Ask them how they missed it. Once you do that, once you talk to a couple of women like that, now you can come back and say something. But until then, you just don't have it. Like, you don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge to speak for us. But I respect as a man that you see it like that.
Lafife, I wanted to answer your question on if feminism freed women or just took responsibility or allowed men to not have responsibility. I honestly think that both would apply to a certain degree. It freed women or gave women the illusion of freedom. And then from there, it directly impacted how men not only were seen in society, but what they felt they needed to bring to the table in order to even have a woman or get married and things of that nature. It took a lot of responsibility off of their shoulders. And now we have this world, right, where everything can be 50-50, or a woman can take care of a man doesn't have to do as much because of feminism and what it has been pushed into and what is represented as that today.
What percentage of men do you think are abusers?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Say what?
What percentage of men do you think are abusers?
Ask Pretty. I'm not a numbers person. I don't know what to tell you. I know she can answer.
Well, you can't at least spitball it, only because you've just gave out a narrative that would have people believe that the majority of men are abusers. So I think it would be fair just to give a ballpark of what you think.
I don't. Well, Trev, I didn't say majority. I'm not. I don't do that unless I know for sure.
You didn't say that, but you insinuated when you explained how it would be very difficult for us to even decipher if a man is abusive, and you made it seem as if more men are so than not. That's the message that I got. If any other men got that a different idea, please let me know. And that, I'm sure, is what prompted M. White's question as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. What I got from it was how to protect from actual abusers. And that's why I was trying to understand what percentage of men do you feel are actual abusers? Just rough balling, like you said, it doesn't have to be factually accurate. Just in your personal lived experience, what percentage do you feel are abusers?
I don't know.
I throw a number out there. I don't really know. Maybe 10%.
Well,
Google says 3.4 to 15%.
Oh, I was in there.
I think Dave was trying to go ahead, Dave.
Well, so rates of domestic violence against adult women by male partners. This study examines the rate of domestic violence against adult women by male partners. 218 women at 2 primary care clinics responded anonymously to a questionnaire. 48% reported verbal abuse, 44% minor physical abuse, and 28% severe physical abuse. I don't know.
Well, go ahead, Dave.
A couple of things. The first thing is, I think feminism did more to split the Black community than almost anything else. You know, it is a documented fact that Gloria Steinem was paid very well by the CIA to come to Black women and say, you're a woman first and then you're Black. Come burn your bras with us. So when you have a psychological op played on so many levels, that indoctrination, you know, tends to permeate throughout the annals of history, even to this day. Because the truth of the matter is, when feminism got what they needed from Black women, they have pretty much left Black women in a lurch. Because if feminism cared about Black women, then Sandra Bland would not have happened. You know, if feminism cared about Black women, then there wouldn't be so many Black women fighting for things like the Crown Act because their hair is being policed. So that's one thing. Secondly, I'm a married man. I love my wife. I love my children. I have raised a child to adulthood. And there are certain things in my house, because I can only protect what's happening in my house, and that my children automatically know. And one of them is, I got to give it to Bo. She's 100% right. You don't know if somebody is going to abuse. I also have raised my daughters to live in the world that exists, not the one we wish existed. So if in fact that were to happen, my daughters automatically know that I have lived a very, very good life, a very clean life, a life that would allow me to stand in front of a jury of my peers and get off. And in the event that I didn't get off, I would still be the hero of the prison, because I promise you, I come from, you know, a father who was born in 1935 and a grandmother who was born in 1904. We don't play that around here. I will kill you and ask questions later. That's how that works. I'm a father. I don't need a study. I don't need to talk to 17,963 women. I need to talk to the 2 women who are in the next room who call me daddy. And if something happens and I miss it, I'm coming running, and it's going to be some slow singing and some flower bringing. That's that.
In general, how many fathers do you think operate that way?
I have absolutely no idea. Like Bo, I'm not that type of statistician, but for those of us who are active, according to the U.S. Department of, I forgot what it was. I just had a brain fart because I'm middle-aged and I'm tired, and y'all keep me up late. But we are supposed to be the most involved and active fathers. But I don't know a father personally, anecdotally speaking, who wouldn't at least maim, if not go further, if it comes to protecting their daughters. Period, point blank. I love the Second Amendment for that very reason.
And this is the problem with feminism, right? All it does is blame, 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 blame. It's the blame game, right? It's women, the active women, moving for supremacy and not taking accountability for their missteps and their mishaps, right? That's what the feminine, it does. It gives the women a ladder to climb, and if they don't climb it correctly, it's easy for them to throw the man under the bus. And this is where the feminism has divided the family, because now she's saying, "Oh, well, it's his fault. He's not making me happy. He's not making me this, or he's not making me that. Or I feel I should be this, or I feel I should be that." Feminism is cancer, not the answer.
Stewart was feminism before feminism. I was speaking about modern feminism. And yes, we automatically know that concepts are taken. What I said was, and it is a historical fact, modern feminism tricked Black people. It was a divide and conquer act. I'm not divorcing the root of a thing from the fruit of a thing. I'm staying on the message that modern feminism, which was backed by the CIA, came in to disrupt.
So a couple of things were said. Number one, whenever we have this conversation about how many men are actually these harmful people who've unalived women, even though we know globally a woman is unalived every 10 minutes, right? And we know that it's a silent epidemic, and we know that it's a problem. I guess if we need to say how many men before we address it and consider it a majority of men, then I would say how many police officers need to unalive Black men before we consider it a problem? Because more Black women are unalived by their intimate partners than Black men are unalived by the police. And yet we still acknowledge that police brutality is a thing, because it's not the amount of people who do it, it's the amount of harm that's caused to the group that is already marginalized. So it does not need to be a majority. We should never ask for it to be a majority before we act. That's literally the antithesis of protection. It's as if you have a house, you see a roach, and you're like, well, it's not the majority. It's only one roach. No, you unalive, you kill the roach. When you see it, you kill it. That's it. You don't need to wait for it to be a majority. You don't need to wait for it to manifest. You don't need to wait for it to multiply before you decide, hey, let me act on this. Protection is proactive. What you have explained, Dave, is vengeance, which is reactive. One second. The harm has already occurred. Protection, the beginning of the word pro, it means before. So if we're sitting here talking about what I'm going to do if my kid is already harmed, it's already happened. So yes, I'm sure she's so happy that after she has been raped or essayed or whatever, that her dad's going to go take the life of the person and end up in jail his whole life. Now she's without her father and she's traumatized. Sure, she might be happy about that. But protection would mean let's address the concept of the threat before the threat happens. And us talking about it before it becomes a majority is how we would address that threat before that threat becomes a problem. The second thing, or it becomes the majority, right? The second thing I'm going to say is on the concept of feminism. Black women didn't get tricked by feminism. Maria Stewart, if you guys look her up, was one of...
I don't think Black women got tricked by feminism. I think feminism was, women embraced it because it catered to who they truly are. I think feminism addressed who women really are. I think this is why they push for it. It is like, it's their identity. It didn't trick them. They love it. They love the act of power. They love the act of freedom. They love it. They embrace it, and it makes them feel important. So feminism didn't trick women. They understand it, and they agree with it. Feminism is a woman's religion, and they agree with it. Women love the ideology of feminism. They didn't trick them because they understand exactly what it means. They understand exactly what it entails. They understand exactly where they want to go with it. It is now used as a weapon. So it didn't trick them. It actually agreed with them. Men, we think it tricked them because men feel women are better with us than apart. That's the way we think. But women don't think like that. Women think they're cool with you or they're cool without you. Meaning women do not think that being with their man is absolute. So no, it did not trick them.
One of the first Black women who were known to speak about feminism, and that was in 1806. Black women have been speaking on this for a long time. The only problem is, as with everything that you guys should know, being Black men, even when you guys had creations, what happened? It was stolen by white men, right? So don't you believe that the concept of feminism and women's rights could be stolen from Black women by white women? You don't think that's possible? We didn't get tricked. We always knew that women deserved rights. We always fought for those rights. We didn't get tricked by white women. They put a fancy word on it, and all of a sudden you think they invented it. That is what you call internalized white supremacy. You believe they're the creators and the authors of all of these things, and we're just being tricked by them and manipulated them, when Black women have been speaking on feminism for centuries, silently. being unheard, being unregarded.
If I may, because I want to be clear about two things. The first thing is what I said was I raised my daughters so they don't tolerate abuse. They don't see me beating on my wife. They don't see me doing things that would make that in their minds okay. My daughters don't and have not been beaten by me because I knew as a father, if I do that, then I'm setting a tone to make it okay for another man to hit them when they go out into the world. I also have made it very clear when I raise my daughters that, you know, these are certain things you don't tolerate. Ain't going to be a whole lot of raising voices, ain't going to be a whole lot of threats, all that stuff to be preventative. Secondly, Maria W. Stewart was feminism before feminism. I was speaking about modern feminism. And yes, we automatically know that concepts are taken. What I said was, and it is a historical fact, modern feminism tricked Black people. It was a divide and conquer act. I'm not divorcing the root of a thing from the fruit of a thing. I'm staying on the message that modern feminism, which was backed by the CIA.
No. Feminism is not a person, place, or thing. It's an ideology. And women, it's ideology that women agreed with. It's like being pro-Black. It's an ideology, right? Black people back in the days were pro-Black. Then through pro-Blackness, women adopted feminism because they wanted something to separate them from their men. Women fought to be separate from their men, to be looked at as an independent contractor. Simple money.
IA came in to disrupt the anti-war movement, disrupt the Black liberation movement, disrupt civil rights, and break up families. Because prior to that, statistically, the most married, most successful, most skilled group in America when it came to being together were Black people, because we were the number one laborers, and they split us up. Not only that, the government benefited from the fact that if you have a very large group that is not working and all of a sudden you get them in the workforce, you get double the taxes. So yes, acknowledgement to Maria Stewart and how her concept got bastardized, but that's not what's on the table here. I was speaking specifically about what the CIA op did, because the Central Intelligence Agency, the spy wing of the federal government, decided to fund feminism, not because they wanted women to have rights, but they wanted to keep us fighting each.
No, they gave women rights because they thought women deserved rights. And they thought that women and men were adult enough to be handled, that they can handle this. They didn't realize that this would break the families up. This would create hostile environments. They did not realize that. I mean, come on, man.
Other.
So just to confirm, instead of speaking about the overdrafting of Black men in the Vietnam WAR, I don't know if we could say that word on here, when they returned, not receiving any GI benefits that they were promised or were told they would have, right? So thus removing all benefits. When they came back, not receiving care for PTSD and drug addiction that they from trauma they experienced while they were deployed. We're not going to talk about the guns epidemic, the drug epidemic in the Black community. We're not going to bring up any of those things to say that is what has caused the Black families to fall apart. We're going to talk about feminism.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this topic was about feminism specifically.
But it's not the main cause, because the Black community was attacked in all facets of activity, right? Feminism would not be one of those things. Feminism is actually the thing that held the Black community together when those attacks happened. Because let me make something very clear. when those men returned and they were strung out, when the gun epidemic and drug I'm used to TikTok. Drug epidemic happened, all of those things, right? If women couldn't have cards in their name, if women couldn't work, if women couldn't own homes or at least rent homes with leases in their names, we would have been SOL. We would have been SOL because our men were being disproportionately drafted. They were consistently being targeted. Over criminalization is a thing. All of those other facets. And if Black women did not have the right to be able to own and lease apartments, it would have been detrimental. So explain to me how you're going to say this is the cause and not all of these other things. Also, in the 1960s, when Black people, or 1955 was the height of Black marriage, was also the height of Black poverty. So no, we were not the most successful. We were the most active. Yes, we were the most active. We were overrepresented in the workforce and underpaid. Women were getting paid $1 a day. The average during that era was $5,600 per household. $1 a day, if she worked 7 days a week, is $365 a year. No, these were not good times.
All right, let's get some other folks in there.
Real quick though, can I? JR, just I need to ask you this. Were we talking specific? I have two questions for you, JR. The first one is, were we specifically talking about feminism?
Oh, in that last question, yes.
In that last question. So I was addressing the last question. Am I correct so far?
Yes.
Cool. To the entire panel, did I say at any time that feminism as a CIA op was the only exclusive cause? No, I did not. No. But I do address all of those things that you talked about in the Real Black Agenda. So yeah, no, this was not a thing. And I'm just not big on goalposts moving. I know what happened after 9. That's not the issue. What I said was historically accurate and apropos to the actual question. I'm trying to stay on the actual question.
All right.
I think feminism did more
Well, have a good day.